1 minute to 10:30 means we are back for another tip-off at the 2024 OSBA Fall Showcase. Victory Prep versus College Saint-Jean-Veni from Montreal. CSJV in the black uniforms with the white trim, and Victory in the white uniforms. CSJV get the first look. Sam Carl Charles at the top of the key. Here on the near side now. Shot is up off the near iron. Follow your rebounds, folks. Desmond Mbombo gets his. Loose ball. Gonna go the way of Victory Prep. Our first look at both of these sides. Angelo Yap, number 4 in white, the ball handler, traipsing into the front court. Passes to the far side, working into the paint, pull-up jumper, Zohar Dahiwal off the mark. Rebound corralled, but given away by Osose Okondoro. Back here on the near side. Elohim Bangeli gives it up. Shot is up and good by Charles. Kamin Stewart, nice pass. Contact at the top on number 12, Christian Alazi.
For those who are kind of just tuning in now, before CSJV, we had mentioned that it kind of sounded a bit familiar to us. Another fellow Canadian who's actually making his first year in Florida for the Gators. He is, what, 7'9" with shoes on?
Olivier Rioux, that is right. As the 3 falls for Victory. Alazi takes, stopped at the top by Okondoro. Victory out on the run again. Dahiwal doesn't get it to go. Yap fighting for the rebound. Ball knocked loose and out of bounds. CSJV possession on the side.
From what I'm seeing right now, both teams are pretty evenly matched, I would say. They've also been very good at cutting off those fast break opportunities. There's usually always someone kind of hanging back in the backcourt that can run back in time. So no easy baskets, that's for sure.
Sam Carl Charles gives it up. Mamadi Babo. Rebound and put back by Makai Martin Burrows. Good second chance opportunity. Yap accepts the inbound pass. Gives it up to Kevon Fuller. Down low. Dahiwal. Yap trailing. Walks into a 3. Back iron. CSJV get the loose ball. Mbombo. That pass intended for the corner shooter, but deflected out of bounds by Victory. Babo kicks it out. Shot is good. Paul Judy. Bongeli calls his own number. Rebound grabbed by Okondoro. Kevon Fuller now for Victory Prep into the front court. Guarded by Bongeli. Uses the screen, moving downhill. Corner shooter. Pump fake, side step. Shot is pure. Zohar Dahiwal. Elohim Bongeli directing traffic. Ball finds its way to Sam Carl Charles on the near side. With a move into the paint. Elevates off the iron. Okondoro corrals the loose ball. Out on the run, Fuller. Yap. Mid-range Jimmy, no. Bongeli with the rebound. Sam Carl Charles into 2 Victory defenders. And remember, We spoke to Elohim Bangeli, looking for that Rookie of the Year award this year. So we'll see what type of player he is and how he can impact winning. Dorneval going downhill into contact. Mansley Dorneval to the free throw line to shoot 2. The first is good. Last touched CSJV victory ball. And the trend continues. Throughout the day, we will be joined by players from the OSBA. And perfect time to bring in our next guest at this stoppage of time.
We have joining us right now Caitlyn McMillan from Lowell and Prep. We kind of got to see the first glimpse of your team's full rotation during yesterday's game. Kind of talk to me, what were some of the talking points after the game from yesterday, and what are you looking to apply into today's games?
Yeah, so yesterday we were struggling a little bit in the first half with breaking ball pressure and getting some easy looks. So for sure today we're looking at our passing, looking at some better looks, looking for simple opportunities to get some baskets, and always staying together and connected to help us get through each quarter.
And obviously a lot of that will kind of result in a team effort, but is there anything personally you're looking to kind of see from yourself that can really add to that?
Well, personally, I'm injured, so I'm going to be on the bench supporting my team. So I think that for me personally, I'm just going to be focusing on supporting my team in every moment and encouraging them to play their best.
Well, and we talked about that a lot yesterday, how bench presence actually can sometimes in certain situations make or break a certain
Absolutely.
team's victory. What would you kind of say to players who are in your position, who aren't able to play, who maybe aren't getting as many minutes as they'd like to get? What would you say is something they can add to their team even if they're not on the court?
Their voice, everyone's voice is very, very valuable, whether you're on or off the court. That can, on the court, help you offensively, defensively, and if you're on the bench, it just brings up the energy, helps everyone, and coaches see that. Everyone sees that, so that's super important in my opinion. I focus on that, whether I'm on or off the court at all times.
A 10-6 record last season, and it looks like the field is wide open this season with a couple of departures of some high-profile players, some movement of players around the OSBA as well. What do you think it's going to take this year to get an improvement on that 10-6 record and get a little bit further into the playoffs?
Yeah, so what we're focusing right now is just with a lot new players on our team is just learning how to play together. And I think that's really valuable with these kind of tournaments to get that opportunity to play together, learn how we play together before the season starts. So definitely that will be a big part to improve our record. And again, just like improving on the fundamentals and still having fun while we're doing that. So that'll be exciting to see this season.
Coming from Sudbury, obviously a longer drive, about 4.5 hours. You take a bus, you coming down individually, or how do you spend your time on that drive?
Yeah, well, for this tournament, we came in 2 vans, and that's always a really fun way to spend time with your teammates, a lot of team bonding, and yeah, I love traveling with my team.
CSJV, a couple of offensive rebounds, then coughing it up, victory out on the run. Good hustle back from Paul Judy to swipe that one away. Lowell and Prep and Luis Rial, the Rebels, taking center stage next.
So what we've been kind of asking a lot of people is this schedule can get tiring. When you talk about the consistency with school, with training, with games, travel, it can all sometimes kind of pile up, and it can kind of get to your head a little bit. Is there anything that you do maybe away from the court that can kind of just mentally prepare you every day to go into practice with a strong mindset, to go into every game with a strong mindset?
Yeah. A big thing that I focus on is balance with specifically school and basketball. And with going to the same school as my teammates, that support system is really important to me and helps me a lot in a lot of situations. So I think just whether it's your teammates or family or other friends, having that support system to help you get through some harder and stressful moments, whether that's school or basketball, that will help translate into either one. So yeah, personally, I think having a good support system, whether that's your teammates or friends or family, can help you get through that.
An empty possession there for Victory, and out on the run now, CSJV. A little bit of a lost possession. Bongeli, top side, gives it up to Dolce, downhill, back of the glass and through, and one opportunity. And now CSJV in the lead.
Last question we kind of have for you, because I know you, obviously, we have a few quarters here before you get to your game, but I know you kind of want to spend that with your team. Is there anything in terms of a personal goal that you really kind of expect for yourself this season? It can either be, I know you mentioned, obviously you're not able to play right now, so that could be, it may be more of a vocal leadership role, kind of off the bench, but what is a goal that you've set for yourself?
I think a more important goal would be to be the best teammate I can be. And that kind of came back to my last point about being vocal. Yeah, helping my team get as many wins as possible, help my teams with our losses, help my teams with preparing for games, post-game talks, anything like that. I think that's something that I'm working towards being more of a leader this year, being my victory lap. So that's definitely one of my bigger goals to go.
Perfect, and I definitely look forward to being able to hear you all the way from up here during your next game, and fantastic luck for your team going up ahead.
Thank you.
Thanks for joining us. We appreciate the time. 2 minutes left in the first quarter, 13-11 in favor of Victory. Prep over CSJV currently. A couple of substitutions as both coaches going deeper into their bench. At the free throw line now is Jaden Cambridge, who sinks the first. All knotted at 13 now. Lucas Toussaint at the top, into the corner. Daniel Kalonga back to Toussaint, near side. Desmond Mbambo drills the three. Cambridge cross court. Dayuwal back to Cambridge. Looking for somebody down low, no one's there. Resetting at the top, wants to screen. Vidhan Kolsa comes up, then dives right back down. Cambridge, tough shot, doesn't get it to go. He'll go to the free throw line for two, giving us time to welcome in our next guest.
So we have joining us from Louis Riel's Inz Isi. First of all, welcome. I know it can kind of be a bit different. Is this your first experience really having mindset where you're able to kind of talk about your play and really break it down before the game?
Yeah, it's definitely new. But
Yeah.
It's going well so far.
Perfect. So question for the game ahead. I know this tournament really allows for a lot of players and a lot of teams to just kind of see what the season will look like, really get a good glimpse of some of the other teams. Was there anything that your coach was really focusing on for you guys going into this tournament?
I think it was mostly seeing how we play as a team and like trying to get that momentum so that we can keep flowing into the regular season and then hopefully the playoffs.
And for yourself, in terms of the role that you play on your team, where do you see yourself kind of shining, and how do you add to your team in the toughest moments? Like, what do you know yourself that you can bring to each and every game?
I think it's mostly energy whether it's on the bench or on the court, I always like to cheer for my teammates, make sure everyone's in the right mindset and everything, and probably just being physical on the court. I think that's probably my main point where I guess I shine.
Yeah.
In a way.
Yeah, perfect.
So the OSBA has kind of removed the Trillium Conference, and now all the teams are combined into one. So you'll be seeing some more opponents maybe you are not used to seeing, or that the Rebels haven't seen in quite some time. Talk to me just a little bit about how you feel about the landscape and the competitiveness there is at this level of basketball.
I think the fact that there's more teams, newer teams, it's always a challenge. And as a team, we definitely love a challenge. It makes the game more interesting. It makes the league more interesting. So I think we're all looking forward to playing against new teams.
Have you seen any teams here at the tournament this weekend that you got to keep your eye on, you got to keep a pulse on, and follow them throughout the season?
Probably the same ones as last year, like the top teams that were in our Division 1 last year. But for now, we haven't seen much teams play, but we're going to definitely keep an eye on some people.
Shot up from the corner off the mark. CSJV get the offensive rebound. Another look here for Sam Carl Charles. Put on a flurry of moves, then into 3 white jerseys. And Charles will go to the free throw line for 2.
During what can kind of be considered as like the off season, I know for some people who might not necessarily live basketball so heavily as you would do during the regular season, what do you do in the off season to really prepare yourself to get ready for it?
So for a couple of us, we obviously played AAU in the States. So we had a few tournaments. We obviously had practices and stuff. So that kept us moving. And then preseason, once everyone was back in Ottawa, we did have some training, whether it was physiotherapy and like workouts or basketball. So that really like got us back in shape a bit ahead of time, which I found really good.
And a few people have actually mentioned participating in the AAU circuit this summer. And I know from past experiences, AAU can kind of be a little bit intimidating if you've never done it before, or the mindset is just the bench can really play a true part. The fans can play a true part in adding onto the court. What was something that you learned from your experience with AAU that you can really bring into this season?
Probably that anything can happen. Like, you might be losing by a lot, but since the games keep on going, like, you can definitely come back and win the game. And the intensity on the bench definitely translates to the players on the court and how they feel. So when they hear those people cheering for them, like, you want to win, it gives you much more motivation to play.
If you're just joining us on the YouTube stream, we've got Inz Isi here with us in the broadcast booth from Louis Riel Rebels. They take on the Llewellyn Prep team shortly after this one. It is the 1:30 tip. Scratch that. It is the 11:30 tip. I'm already a few games ahead. We are just trudging along here. Loose ball picked up. Back to the rack, and second chance opportunity for Victory Prep. Into the final seconds of the opening quarter. And you can hear the bench in the gymnasium right now. We were talking, about the importance of bench players and role players and keeping the energy up, and how impactful that is in the game. And every stage, whether you're behind, whether you're ahead, you kind of need that energy constantly given to you from the bench. Tough job.
Yeah,
right?
Definitely.
But, for some of the juniors who are, still learning, and kind of that's how they can impact the game, right? And how do you kind of have that conversation with some players who are itching to get onto the court, but, don't really have the chance every single game, but you need them still to be vocal and to impact the game in that way?
Yeah, definitely. You got to be prepared anytime because you never know what's going to happen. So you might not be playing for a couple games, but like as soon as something happens or unfortunately someone gets injured, you have to get on. You already have to be in that mindset. You already have to be wanting your team to win, cheering for them and everything, so you're ready to play and ready to go.
Yeah, it's always the next person up mentality, right? You never know when your number's going to be called. You got to stay ready. And as we appreciate your time, we are at the 1-quarter break, so we'll let you go and bring in our next guest. Best of luck in your game later this morning, and we'll talk to you a little bit later. All right, as we say, it is 19-17 in favor of Victory Prep after 8 minutes of play. CSJV and Victory Prep going back and forth there in the first quarter, trying to find a rhythm. That is one of the higher scoring quarters that we've seen in quite some time this weekend. we get ready to prepare, we bring in our next guest, get him set up with the headset. We're here at Bill Crothers Secondary School for the 2024 OSBA Fall Showcase. If you're in the Markham area, you want to come watch some good hoops, the next wave of talent here in Canada and in Ontario, come on down to Bill Crothers. If you're watching on YouTube, we appreciate you tuning in. Again, it's JJ Evison, Sydney Holmes, welcoming in our next guest.
So we have Jordan Fisher. For most people, you're under Coach Rowe. I know your brother kind of followed or led by example Elijah Fisher, and we see him now at the Division I level. Similar to him, though, you're kind of setting your own path. You're very much separating yourself from him in the sense of how you play, your aggression, how you play, and you've been doing that for the longest time. My question to you is I know that you've been consistent in the AAU circuits for the past couple years. Is there anything that you've learned from that you bring to this league and into the regular season as we finish up with this tournament here this weekend?
Just passing the ball, looking for my teammates, try to get my buckets too. Always scoring, make sure my team has always had a high tempo.
And which is actually interesting. I don't know if you know this. So your aunt, Tamara, she was actually my coach in rep. So I can understand with the things that she taught me, her mindset with basketball. Was there anything that she was able to even translate to you? I know you have a lot of coaches, but from the family perspective, was there anything that she was able to kind of give to you that you really try to implement into your game?
It's my shooting. I like shooting, getting some buckets, shooting off the dribble and stuff like that.
Perfect. And in tournaments like this, for some people who aren't able to really train in the summer, it's more so a chance for them to kind of work out the kinks and really get their rotations sort of set. With yourself and your team, is there anything that you guys do in the summer together that can really prepare for the regular season, or is it more so separate and then you kind of come together later?
We have like a boot camp. So everybody comes, just train, condition, everything. Get a mindset right for the season.
Perfect.
Jordan, we saw a lot of each other in August at the Canadian Nationals. We won the first team All-Star nod in the gold medal, run there. I'm wondering if you've seen any of the guys from the team this weekend, if you tried to catch up with them and see them around the gymnasium and kind of, revisit those moments from that week in that gold medal.
Oh, I seen Kenyon. I seen him play. It was a good time seeing him play and stuff like that.
Any of the guys from the 17U team?
I seen Caleb.
Caleb, yeah, we saw him and his squad in Ridley College, and of course their head coach Vic Razzo in day one. We haven't seen him since then, but sprinkling of guys. I saw Noah Dacre, I saw Demetrius Woodard, a couple of those guys as well. So you often think about that run and kind of what that team was and how that team got to that point to get that gold medal and what it really takes to win a championship and what you can bring from that experience to your team here.
Since the Ontario thing, we had like a good connection. We played with each other for AAU and stuff. So I think that we bring that connection to Ontario, and we just won that. We just know like we're the best team. We're the best team in the province. So just go attack and just go kill them. Just go kill them.
You have to have that mentality for sure on the provincial stage, and even in the OSBA here. Obviously, the level of talent has just been rising and rising and rising, and there's new teams coming in to the league as well, rebranded teams. I don't know if you saw William Academy at all, but there's somebody that people are kind of saying you got to keep a pulse on them with some of the returning players. As we approach 2 minutes played here in the second quarter, what do you think that the key takeaways from a weekend like this as you prepare for the regular season are going to be in terms of on-court adjustments?
Seeing what needs to work on the court, like passing the ball, making the right reads, executing plays, and stuff like that.
Who do you look to as the leader of your squad to be kind of the director of those types of conversations?
I would say me, but if I had to choose somebody else on my team, I'll say Elijah Thomas.
Elijah Thomas and yourself. You definitely need more than one leader. Obviously, it helps get that message across and get everybody on the same page for what you want to go for a championship run.
And it's very interesting, too, that you would obviously carry yourself as a leader because we still have a few years left before your graduation year. 2027 is actually your grad year. I know that you have been thankful enough to actually receive offers and you're kind of just playing your hardest and really trying to put your best on the floor day in and day out. Is there anything that you do to kind of not really get too distracted by like the offers you're receiving and like kind of the praise that you're getting from how strong you're performing? Is there something that you can do to really lock into each and every game?
Just know that there's always better players out there that always have offers and stuff. So I'm trying to kill them. So I'm just gonna be in the gym every day trying to kill them.
Love that.
Do you ever get burnt out? And what do you do to refresh yourself if you do?
I got burnt out sometimes, but I just go push through it. Push through it. Always trying to get better each day.
Not a lot of people have that mentality, right? I think it takes a special approach and understanding of what it takes to be successful. And you read the stories, you read Kobe's autobiography, or even I read Steve Nash's autobiography, great Canadian hooper, and just morning, noon, and night, regardless of how you feel about it, you kind of have to go through the routine of getting shots up, working on your game. And that's something you'll be doing for a long time, right? I don't know if anybody's game ever feels complete at any certain level.
Last question I kind of have for you, because I know we want to let you kind of get back into your back with your team, get ready for your game. I don't know if many people would be able to guess, but you're very vocal when you play on the floor. You're very vocal. You kind of play with this tenacity that with how you kind of speak and how you carry yourself. Most people would not be able to see that as being the same person. Where do you get that aggressiveness from? Where do you get that dominance from, especially being a leader and still having a few years left from graduation? Where do you find that in yourself?
Just always on the court, I'm just going to kill you. That's my mentality. On the court, I'm going to kill you. Off the court, I might talk to you as friends and stuff.
Yeah.
But on the court, you're going to get killed.
That's fantastic. I love that. Perfect. Well, thank you very much for joining us. Jordan, good luck in your game, and we can't wait to see great things coming up for you in the future.
Thank you for having me.
Jordan Fisher, thank you so much, sir. As we turn our attention back to the court, Victory now an 8-point lead. Top side three is up, and bottom, Desmond Mbambo shushing the crowd after a made three from the center.
We mentioned it a little bit there, but Jordan Fisher, his brother Elijah Fisher, was one of the top players in the OCAA circuit. He actually came from Crestwood Prep, so that was his
Another
home
Crestwood
team.
Alumni, eh?
But head coach Ro Russell, I know we might get a chance to kind of see them play today, but he has a track record from supplying people into the Division I circuit. And he has an amazing track record with how to prepare players and get them ready for that next level.
Correction on the score, 33-24 in favor of CSJV. 4:29 left in the second quarter. Turnover on the last possession for Victory.
It's funny, too, you asked me yesterday kind of about my favorite coach, my favorite moments. It's actually his aunt, too.
There you go.
So, I mean, basketball just runs
Small
in the family
world,
with
yeah.
that family, I think.
Angelo Yap up the corner. Slicing through the defense. Shot off the mark. Okendoro, second chance opportunity, no. Charles pushing the pace. Up ahead. Mbambo, yes.
Because these teams are so evenly matched, the only way that they've actually been able to kind of push themselves ahead, CSJV, is with those fast break opportunities. They're so evenly matched that when you set up a play on offense, it's kind of just who can really outplay who in that moment, but they're really dominating with those fast breaks.
That last three made by Dahual brings it to an 8-point game. Mbambo looking for more and gets it. Tyrus tighter now, far side, working to the baseline. Okendoro has to save it. Yap has a little bit of space over the top. Okendoro on the mismatch, just using his size and frame to get to the rack. It's going to take more than one man to stop Okendoro. 3 minutes remaining in the first half. CSJV ahead 38-29. Charles doesn't get the lane to go. Yap demands the ball, head up the whole way. Picks up the dribble. That pass intended for Kalonga, and now Kalonga over the timeline after it was interrupted by Charles. Corner shot, up, bottom. Tyrus Tighter brings Victory Prep to within 6. 2.5 remaining in the second quarter. Shot starting to fall here in a fast-paced, high voltage offense second quarter.
There's been a lot of basketball we've seen, obviously. There's a lot of games going on this weekend, but I think
8 yesterday,
yes.
5 the day before.
Yes, but I know the nice thing, and thankfully the teams are really helping us out with this, is that none of the games are really blending together. Like
There each has an identifiable story.
Exactly, which is good, and it's also nice to see that each team kind of has their own strengths to them. But this was probably the first matchup that I've seen all weekend that is so evenly matched. It's both teams are so strong on offense and defense that it honestly comes down to if one of the teams makes a mistake, the other's capitalizing on it. So like for instance, Victory is very good at shutting the back door. They're very good at kind of clamping down on that. And in the same sense, CSJV, they're also good at really minimizing the chances that Victory can have. So they're very evenly matched, and we can see it in the score clock. We only have a 6-point differential right now, so it's very, very close.
The game of the day yesterday for me was Polaris Prep versus Bill Carruthers. Came down to the final possession. Block at the end. As we resume here on the main court, there are 3 gymnasiums on the go here at Bill Carruthers Secondary School for the 2024 OSBA Fall Showcase. Jump ball called on the floor. Possession arrow favoring Victory Prep. So stuck 6 here with 2:20 remaining. Victory looking to tie this up or take the lead before the half. Tyrus Titer. Guarded by Paul Judy. Titer around the screen. Devon Fuller. Top side working on Babo. Turns around. Dahiwal off the mark. Yap. Unable to put the second chance opportunity back, but he'll go to the free throw line to shoot 2 under 2 minutes remaining in the second quarter. And Angelo Yap does a little bit of everything. Primary ball handler, offensive rebounder, attacks the paint, shoots from 3. And with that being said, we bring in our next guest.
Joining us now, CCA, we had the privilege of seeing a fantastic performance from yourself and your team this morning. We have Georgia Ferguson joining us. First of all, how are you doing today?
Good, thank you. How are you?
Good, thank you. I always kind of just like to break the ice a little bit. I know for some people it can be a bit nerve-wracking, being able to not only go from playing but then talking about it. So first of all, what were some goals that your coach had set for the team coming into the tournament?
Yeah, well, we talked last night about how we have high standards for ourselves, how we have our goals, and just how we want to be. We're a defensive team. We always want to be a defensive team. We know we have scores on our team, so we know we're going to score on offense. It's a matter of shutting the other team down on defense first, and I think we did a really good job of that today.
And I was going to say, you were clinical with defense yesterday, but it was astounding the shift that I was able to see today. It was much more apparent that you were able to shut down Orangeville and not really allow them to kind of get into their set rotations. But for yourself now, with the post moves, it's like your teammates really kind of know how to give you the ball in a way that allows you to really make those moves effective. But in saying that, you also need to fight for position to kind of put yourself in a way to get there. Is that something specifically that you practice and that you kind of just know you have on lock, being able to get open down low?
Yeah, I mean, me and Rachel, my teammate, we practice every day on it. Me and her, we battle every day in practice. So we kind of just learn how to get positioning. Sometimes it's not better to fight for positioning and just asking somebody to send the ball over to somewhere else. So our team's done a really good job of just swinging the ball around to find us, and yeah, I think we've done a great job of that.
Yeah.
Rachel had an incredible quarter yesterday. I think maybe 4 or 5 offensive rebounds and an 8-0 run by herself. And offensive rebounding is something that is a strength of both yours and hers. Is that something you're looking for every single time down the court?
All the
or
time.
is that a pick and choose moment?
No, it's known that if me and Rachel are both on the court that we're crashing and everybody's safety. So offensive rebounding is a big thing for us. We have a drill specifically just for offensive rebounding. We know that with our size that we can get a lot of putbacks and a lot of touches in the paint. So, yeah.
A lot of timely cuts, too, coming from the wing down into the paint. And your teammates do a great job of finding you on those cuts. When did that become a focus for you in terms of the timing of figuring out exactly when it was you needed to dive down into the paint?
I wouldn't necessarily say it's a focus. It's just something that comes to me.
Second
Sometimes
nature.
I see an opening and I kind of want to take it for myself. So sometimes I just run into it and they see me and it works out.
Yeah.
So
And I guess a question that I have for you, I know a lot of people, they obviously stay consistent in the summer with training, but from the looks of it, it didn't look like you guys were really working through that many kinks. It kind of just seemed like you got all knew the systems, you knew what plays to run, depending on what the defense was showing you. Is that more so reliant on the training that you guys do together in the summer, or do you kind of not really come together until a bit later?
we didn't see each other until after Labor Day. We didn't have any practices during the summer. I didn't even go up to Ottawa until the first day of school. So no, yeah, it's just the way Coach Fab trains us.
Yeah.
She trains us to perfection. If we don't do it right, we'll do it again until we get it right. So no, yeah, it's just the way we're trained. I mean, we've only really had 12 practices since we've been together. So I think it's just we have a great team, like chemistry, great coaching, and it's just, I don't know, we all have the mindset of sharing the ball. So, like, it works out really well.
When looking at the rosters for the OSBA, it seems like your squad has the most returning players, right? You look at Megan coming back, and of course Patricia. There's a lot of already chemistry developed there, and that's going to be, I think, something that you guys can really lean into with the field as open as I think it has been in some time. When you're looking at the field and you're looking at your competition, is there anybody that scares you right now?
Not really. I have confidence in all my teammates. I have confidence in myself. Like, we have 8 seniors this year. Everybody else is super young. So we should be like more mature on the court. We should be more we know the systems. We have high IQ. We have girls that are super, super smart. So not really. I mean, Crestwood's always going to be good. Royal Crown has an old team as well. Big team. But yeah, so not really. I'm confident in our team, and I think we're going to do great.
With the 8 seniors, do you feel a pressure to leave the program, in really good hands and put extra emphasis on developing the next, wave of talent to take over?
Oh yeah, for sure. Actually, Coach Fab has set up like a sisterhood thing that we've been doing for the past 2 years. They've been doing. So we train with the junior team, and we'll have each player on the senior team is appointed a girl on the junior team, and we'll like mentor them. We'll help them out. They can come ask us questions.
Super cool.
They can text us at any time if they have questions or any concerns, or just needing some reassurance on their game or something. They have an appointed older sister, so yeah.
That's something that I don't think a lot of programs do, and maybe they should do. And kudos to you guys for giving your time and knowledge to the younger players.
Yeah, no, it's awesome.
Well, thank you very much for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
Fantastic, not only team effort, but solo effort, and I can only imagine that it's going to get better as the season progresses. So thank you very much for speaking with us, and we can't wait to see how your season goes on this year.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
38-33 at the half. CSJV lead victory prep. We'll step aside for the remainder of the half and be back with 2 more quarters from the 10:30 tip-off before we get set for noon. The second half of game number 2 from the center court here at Bill Carruthers Secondary School getting underway. 2024 OSBA Showcase weekend. JJ Evison alongside Sydney Holmes. We have a rotating cast of OSBA players coming through the broadcast booth again today. Get to chat to them about the team goals, individual goals, how their weekend's going, and what they're doing to prepare for the upcoming OSBA season. In the meantime, we turn our attention back to the product on the floor. Okendoro called for the foul. Christian Elazi to the free throw line, shooting 2. It's a 5-point game, CSJV lead. The first is through for Elazi. Not a single CSJV player in the key.
I don't know if I've ever seen that, unless it's like they're looking
Late
to press.
in the game or something like that, yeah.
Interesting. Maybe they're looking to do a full court after this?
Perhaps they just know that Elazi is money from the free throw line.
Or that too. I should have considered that option, to be fair. Maybe he's just really good at foul shots.
Yap and Dhaliwal playing catch. Now it's Dahiwal in the corner. Yap up top. Swing, swing. Nothing there, so they'll reset. Into the corner. Stewart, 3 is off the mark. Judy corrals the loose ball, kicks it ahead. Bombo, no. Offensive rebound. Kagmachi. Extending the CSJV lead. Eight-second backcourt violation.
In situations like that, it's never good to go back because you think it takes you maybe less, on average, about 5 seconds to inbound the ball. Well, after you inbound the ball to like.
Elazi makes his move into the paint, elevates. Nice touch and a finger roll finish. Christian Elazi. Yap on the far side gets over the timeline, now gets it to a teammate only to get it right back. Dahiwal and Yap playing catch. Okendoro wanted it. Didn't quite have the seal. Now gets the offensive rebound. Fading away. No. CSJV out on the run with numbers. Christian Elazi had too much time, had to think about it. The pass ahead to Yap. Knocked out of bounds.
I have to point that out, though. On the last play, they tried to feed it inside. Charles for CSJV, fantastic defense. That's how you guard a big who has you in size. You have to be in front of him. So that way, when they're looking inside, it's like there's a hand in the way. They can't see to get the ball over to him. So that's exactly how you play a tall big.
Dahiwal, no hesitation. Another offensive rebound. Okendoro coming up empty-handed. Now the other way. Beautiful pass and find and finish. Mansley Dorneval with the 2-point play. Bounce pass intercepted by Elohim Mongeli. Quickly up the floor. Ravel called the jump stop, not textbook Mansley Dorneval turnover. Timeout on the floor, 46-33, 13-point lead now CSJV. Victory Prep looking for their first score. as we get set to resume play here in the third quarter of this contest between CSJV and Victory Prep, we want to welcome in our next guest, Aya Corgale, just finished playing, now up here in the broadcast booth. How would you feel like today's game went? Obviously, you didn't get the results you wanted, but a couple of good quarters, a couple of good possessions. What was the big takeaway from this game today?
Yeah, CC is a really good team. They're really experienced in the OSBA, and I think we as a sort of newer team in the OSBA, we competed for. I think our compete could have been more steady throughout the entire game, but I think we just have to be dogs. Like when we play those really experienced and good teams, we have to have that dog mentality going on the court.
It looked like from up here that head coach Greg Firth was looking for some sort of lineup to get a spark going. He went to a 5-guard lineup at one point. There were 3 bigs on the floor in the third quarter. Is that just preseason stuff, or was that game-specific stuff?
I think that's kind of just, we have a lot of newer pieces to our team, so we're kind of just trying to see who works well with who. We're missing Cameron McMaster, so we're just trying to sort of see who meshes with who. I think it's more just preseason stuff, but yeah, we'll have some lineups that give us a spark.
Can you give us any update on Cameron McMaster and her status?
She will be back next weekend in Montreal for us, but she's on a visit right now.
Okay.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah. Speaking on the dog mentality, that was kind of something that we heard from Fiona yesterday.
Yeah.
That's almost like a staple, I would assume, with your team.
For sure.
How do you bring that into a game? What's something that you can do to kind of really bring that dog mentality?
Well, this past summer with the provincial team, that was kind of a big thing for us too. Is just no matter who we play, we have to go out and have that dog mentality. We have to be first one on the ground for a ball. We have to always competing. We have to always go at the other team on defense, push the ball on offense, not be afraid of contact. So it's kind of just bringing that sort of energy and that mentality into the game, no matter who you're playing, no matter the score.
Yeah. And talking about your personal play, I know with yourselves being usually the center of the play, being the point guard, there was times where you saw a pocket in space when I couldn't even see that there was space, and you made your way to the net. Is that just really comes down to with years and training in basketball that you can kind of have that second eye where you can create space? And how are you able to do so at such a high rate of speed?
I just feel like we have to put pressure on the defense and also on the refs. If there's that sort of little space to get through, I think you kind of have to take it, because when's the next opportunity that you're going to get that? You don't know.
Yeah.
And then it puts pressure on the refs to call the fouls. It puts pressure on the defense not to foul. So it's kind of just reps and being a dog. You have to get downhill. You have to look for yours.
I'm wondering how you spent your time for the rest of the summer after capturing gold for Team Ontario, being named to the first team All-Star. What was the next couple of weeks like for you before we got started there in Orangeville?
Right, so it was a busy weekend. It was a busy summer with basketball from AAU, and then we left for Newfoundland. We had training camp, then we left for Newfoundland, and we had kind of 2 weeks after that capturing gold. And it was kind of just a little bit of recovery. Still got in the gym a little bit, worked on some small stuff, form shooting, all that. But yeah, I kind of just relaxed a little bit. I worked at a camp. It was just kind of chill before school
Taking some
starts.
time away to get reset.
Yes, exactly.
I remember that media day at Orangeville Prep, and we had the chance to go up and see Andrew Wiggins. Did you tell many people about that story and that experience?
No, actually, I don't. That was really cool, just to be able to. He came back. He was there for both teams. That was kind of cool that he came back and was there for the kids. That was a pretty cool thing. I guess I could probably start telling that.
Yeah,
story
I would tell
more.
that story. He was shooting that Quench commercial, and then we got the opportunity to get into the gym with him. He had a half-court shoot-off,
cool.
and then he got an alley-oop from one of the players. Very, very cool afternoon there at Orangeville Prep. 55-40 now, so 15-point lead for CSJV. Victory slowly starting to claw back into this one behind a couple of great buckets from Angelo Yap, who's doing a little bit of everything for Victory at the moment. Inside out dribble, shots up from deep, but off the mark entirely from Lucas Toussaint.
Last question we kind of got for you, so we can kind of let you get back to your team there. we've asked a lot of the players, and usually there's always a kind of a bit of a tweak to their answer. With yourself, with the amount of basketball that you do play, and you said there was kind of really only a 2-week grace period where you didn't really have anything going on. Is there something you do away from the game to kind of just center yourself so that way you are mentally ready each and every day to kind of just go in with that dog mentality?
Yeah, like a lot of people have asked me that, but honestly, like there really isn't. I have school, practice, go home, like do my homework and stuff. Maybe hang out with like a couple of friends every once in a while. But like there's nothing really that like I would want to do outside of it.
Yeah.
But I know that like having a sort of a break from it is good as well. But yeah, there's not really like I play a lot of basketball.
Eat, sleep, breathe basketball.
I was
right?
going to say, maybe that's honestly the mindset for yourself to be able to push you to that next level, because there's really nothing else that you'd rather be doing.
That's what and like the next level is going to be hard. It's going to be like that. Like there's going to be no time.
Yeah, time
That's
is
perfect.
time is something of a commodity, and you got to use it wisely.
Right.
We're approaching the 2-minute mark here in the third quarter. If you are up for it, we'd love to have you stay and provide some analysis on the game here. I'll call the play-by-play, and then you tell me what you saw,
Sure.
how the player got open, who missed their defensive assignment, something like that.
For sure.
As we take a look, victory prep in the front court. Stewart falls to the ground, out above everybody the other way. CSJV two-handed jam, Mansley Dorneval. We noticed a couple players actually slipping on the court.
Yeah,
What's the condition of the court?
Like, look at that. It's honestly, I don't know what it is. I think it's just the condensation buildup, but there's a couple spots that are like you're falling no matter what.
Dangerous,
It's
right,
kind
for
of
a
annoying.
preseason tournament.
Yeah.
Foul on the baseline, and one. You called it. Paul Judy. Scratch that. Tyrus Titer with the completed play and one opportunity. How can you describe the feeling of like getting that and one? Like if in one game you go down 2 layups, the first one you get fouled, but you have to go to the line for 2. The second one it's an and one opportunity. What's the difference in the feeling there?
It's kind of just like a relief that like you can make that shot, and then plus the contact, and then you know like you're strong enough to go into that and like still make the shot. It's just like thank you, like I made the shot. Like
Titer completes the 3-point play. 12-point game, 1:30 remaining in the third quarter. Again, thanks for joining us live on OSBA TV, the YouTube page. JJ Evison alongside Sydney Holmes. And Sydney, I don't want to speak too soon, but great analysis here by Aya Corgale. You might have a...
I'm not going to lie. Every time people come up here and they can give the exact same analysis that I would have said, I'm like, dang, I'm nervous. They're coming for my job.
A little bit of chaos here. Ball finds its way to the hands of Vangeli. And that time there, he missed it, and so you can see him clapping, probably saying to himself, oh, that's something I should have had.
yeah, exactly. Like next time he comes on the floor, he makes that shot though.
1,000%. So we just had a chat with him, and he's got his sights set on Rookie of the Year.
Right.
Coming in first year at CSJV in Montreal. And we obviously know, what the landscape of Ontario basketball is, but basketball in Montreal has been growing and growing as well.
Yeah, it's kind of under the radar, I would say. Like we go out there next weekend actually, but there's some good teams, some good players that have been playing together a lot, kind of like OSBA basketball, but they're just like it's not as popular. But it's definitely like there's some good competition.
You remember
Sure.
playing Team Quebec out there in Newfoundland?
Yes, like that's a good team. They got some good players in the whole province.
Vangeli good on the first. Under a minute remaining in the third quarter. Trying to extend his team's lead. 2 for 2 from the free throw line. Angelo Yap gets it over the timeline. Bounce pass in the middle. Far side. Shooter is wide open. Titer. Bottom. The no-look pass from Yap, I think, caught some of the CSJV guards off guard.
Nice.
I was looking for a different word to say there.
No, that's fine. It worked.
Nice
There you
take
go.
to the rack. Kind of getting away with a hook there. Christian Alazi. Good perimeter ball movement to break that press. Now just tried to throw it off a defender and out of bounds. Loose ball corralled by Daniel Kalonga. And another downhill attempt resulting in a foul. It's tough to stay disciplined. And, you know, especially, you got to kind of adjust to how the referees are calling the game, right? Sometimes you get a tight whistle, sometimes you get a loose whistle. Do you find that you're often talking about that on the bench, like what we can get away with and what we need to be careful of?
Like, I find either, like, in practice, Coach Firthy's always telling us, like, don't go for the block. Like, that just gives the refs an opportunity to call a foul. Just literally stay walled up, straight up, use your chest. It's going to affect don't go for the block, because if you're coming down, they're going to call that.
Every single time. Or if you're even moving into the path of the shoot.
Yes, exactly. Even if it's clean, it gives the refs an opportunity to call it.
Cambridge into the front. 7 seconds left in the quarter. Cambridge, nice shovel pass. And again, a foul on the floor. Colleen Stewart heads to the free throw line. Eyes in the back of his head there. Nice baseline cut from Stewart. Got to make those decisions in like a split second, right?
For sure.
Especially at the end of the quarter where you know time's running down and, you know, everybody's kind of looking at the ball. And those one of those instances where you need your head on a swivel more so.
For sure.
The first no good. 3.5 seconds. CSJV with a chance to add to their lead, either on a baseline inbound or a rebound defensively. It will be a defensive rebound, pushing the pace here. 1 second, half court heave, just off to the left from the hands of Elohim Bongeli. Of 3 quarters, CSJV lead Victory Prep. And there was instances there where Victory was getting it close, but CSJV kept going to what works for them, moving downhill, fast-paced, quick decision-making, and good ball movement.
That, I will say, is the only breakdown in the Victory defense, is because CSVJ, every single time CSJV, it's all right. Every single time they have the basketball, they're pushing it. It doesn't matter if they made a mistake on defense or what. It's like it's completely out of their head. The coach, as soon as a basket is made, is saying push it, drive it down the floor, because they know that Victory is going back a bit more lackadaisical than they are, and that's how they're getting their points, and that's honestly why we see the lead how it is right now.
15 points isn't insurmountable in 8 minutes, but it's going to take some serious dedication on the defensive side of the ball. Active hands in the passing lanes, deflected balls, and being smart with gambling, right? We just talked to Ayla about not giving the refs an excuse to call foul. A lot of fouls called in the last 2.5 minutes of that quarter. Got to stay disciplined, keep the feet down, wall up, and just make it difficult for your opponent. You don't need to, go for the steal, go for the block, just alter the shot.
And if I'm not mistaken, we saw a lot of fouls yesterday. Again, it was at Code and West United. There was almost
14 fouls in the first quarter?
Yes.
7 aside?
And it was because, and it's funny too, because both teams ended up resorting back into a zone. It was because they were not fast enough to get to the position. So they just need to be a bit quicker, get to position, and play hard defense.
First possession, Victory Prep, far side, Blackman. Little shifty move, gives it up, tighter. Has to kick it down low, out on the run the other way, CSJV. One-handed jam, Christian Ilazi. He had a good third quarter there for CSJV. Tighter, pass to the top. Kebe, far side now, Cambridge. Just inside, it's a 1-on-2, kick back out, Dahiwal. Inside the three-point line, flush. Ilazi, far side, working on Kebe. Across the top, gets to the rack. That shot altered, pushing the pace. Charles scoops it up, now back the other way, Ilazi. Trying to go baseline. Works into 2 defenders, kicks it back out. Bottom. Elohim Bongeli, and I see why he has that goal of being Rookie of the Year. Sound player, good lateral movement, knocks down shots.
He just also has that confidence, too, especially coming in being a rookie. First time you're really looking to kind of make your mark. there's a level of confidence that you're not really used to seeing from first-year players. So it's honestly refreshing.
Humble confidence.
Yes, very humble. Yep.
Blackman on the far side with the handoff. Kebe. Dahiwal. Victory Prep now stuck in the outside entry pass. Kebe can't convert. Bongeli travels.
What I'm seeing a lot from Victory right now, and it's honestly not really a specific player, on the last drive down though, whoever has the ball, because honestly, there's not really a true point guard for them right now because they can kind of run the offense
Got a
through
couple,
anybody.
yeah.
But the point guard has a consistent pattern of taking 1 or 2 dribbles, not going anywhere, and stopping it. It results in plays like this.
Bongeli with the one-handed jam and the foul. 3-point opportunity upcoming. Another example of passing backwards for Victory Prep.
They have a tendency, and they've been trapped a few times because CSJV is sending 2 players. As soon as they cross over half, there's 2 players trapping them. But as a result, Victory is getting themselves into trouble because every single time without fail, instead of going to the middle of the floor, they go to as close to the sideline and outline as they possibly can, and they're getting trapped. And they're forcing to make off-balance passes, and it's really not going in their favor.
Well, remember, the boundary line is another defender. You pin your opponent against that, and they have nowhere to move. It's a 20-point lead now for CSJV. Elohim Bongeli with the jam and the N1 opportunity here, able to make it 21 with a made free throw. Rims around and out. And there's that double team that we were talking about. Tighter. Off his foot. Corrals the loose ball. We're going to get a foul on Mikhail Kagmachi. Playing a little too physical. Getting the body up into Tyrus Tighter.
Again, I will say, though, Tighter did dribble into trouble. They need to be quicker at moving the ball.
Cambridge down on the block. Stewart shots up, no good. CSJV corral the loose ball. Out on the run, Mbombo. 1-2 stepping. Corner 3 up, Bongeli, yes! I don't think a single shot of his has touched the rim.
No. That's how you know that you just have the touch. That's on training, and that's on consistency, and that's on good practice.
Cambridge now trying to penetrate this zone defense by CSJV. Dahiwal, he'll move into the lane. Charge, feet set. Christian Ilazi.